Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Right, so I was just over on Instagram saying to people there, so do you remember our regular people here, our community will know that a year and a half ago, I told Mark that I find these kinds of jumpers very sexy. Now, He runs hot. He always...
I do that, I'm not surprised.
He always runs very hot, right? So he keeps putting these jumpers on, which are great. But then that's all we have all day. He's got a fucking fan on over there and the door wide open.
Why can't you find like...
It's not as sexy, babe. It's not as sexy when you're going... You've got to just be, you've just got to be okay in your hunky jumper like a fisherman.
I do that.
Would a fisherman be doing that?
I do that. And then when you walk out of a room, sometimes you turn back around and you catch me behind the scenes.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm like, and then you walk out the room and I'm like, fucking hell, open a window, get this off. And then I take it off and I've got wet arms.
Take it off. Take it off. I think you're unhappy. I think take it off. Take it off now. You've done your work and you look great.
Because what I'm wearing underneath is just going to make you laugh.
Take it. Why? What is it?
Oh,
fucking axle grinder. Anyway, welcome to Coffee Moaning. If this is your first visit here, it's welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Farage and his comments. Oh God. Now he's happy because he hasn't got a bloody jumper on.
Mr. Happy. I'm happy. If you listen on podcasts, I've got Mr. Happy teacher.
Yeah, Mark is sweating away to impress me, Zoe. But the thing is there's a lot of exhaling going on at the same time.
Yeah, hang on, I've got my asthma pump.
It was just, honestly, I looked over and there he was, the fan, the asthma pump. Now you know some of the hell that we go through when you boys buy us these snappers that snap us in the face.
The one thing you don't realise is I'm wearing a really tight thong. Or as Dina calls them, an anus flosser.
Oh, God. That's my sister, Dina, who lives next door, if you're wondering.
Last time I saw Dina, the last thing she said was, I've got real liver issues, and then farted.
Oh, yes. No, she farted and then told us she had liver issues.
Yeah.
We have got to do it for the gram, haven't we, Zoe? Just got to do it for the gram.
Feel my nipples.
Now we've gone too far.
Okay.
Right.
Just always.
Just tell people what we're doing in case people have just arrived and never seen us before. They're going to think we're lunatics. Be professional.
I wish Cenk and Anna did a bit of this. Okay, we're going to be chatting about. We have touched upon it before, but we are going to be talking in a little bit more detail,
expanding it a bit.
But yeah, because Farage actually, well, did he answer the question? Farage's racism or fascism from when he was a childhood. When he was a child, when he was a teenager,
at Dulwich College,
forgiven.
Down the road from me, as I always say, 61, we would definitely have been at events together.
Could he have been at one of those events where you said boys had sex with melons?
No,
do you remember those?
No, that was a rogue. No, that was just one person at one party, and he was from a very posh private school.
And it wasn't Farage.
And I came down in the morning, and he was having with watermelon.
What was in the watermelon?
Nothing. He'd hollowed it.
Oh.
Anyway, people are eating.
I don't know if they are. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be getting weird with... You're not wearing a necklace.
No, you wouldn't speak. Does anyone know what he's doing here? It's Cynthia and Ariana doing an interview together.
Straight in your hand.
We want to talk about the fact we were very, very good. The first wicket, we just said, can everyone just stop?
We rode through it.
They're inhabiting their characters. They're caught up in it. They haven't yet let go of their characters. But I found a video yesterday. Have you got the comedian? The woman's talking about it.
Yeah, yes.
And she made me think, okay, enough is
the one I sent you. Yeah.
No, the one I sent you.
No,
the blonde woman.
Yeah,
I sent it to you because I also sent it to Lee.
I sent it to you. The one who's quite angry about it.
Yes. I sent it.
Okay, let's not worry about that. Let it go.
Let it go. That's not.
No, I know.
That's frozen.
Don't look horrified. We haven't literally done something illegal.
They're off. People are wanting to talk about the Cynthia and Ariana.
I couldn't find
I agree, Russ. I think that's the case, but we have to be careful, don't we? With
I literally couldn't find the helicopter one. Again, I've searched everywhere. So if you find it, or someone can send it to Nads, or Nads can send it to me, I'd love to grab it. We have got some clips, excruciating clips of the two of them. We don't want to just knock them. We just want to understand.
Listen, we want to discuss it. This isn't just like a bitch fest.
No.
This is like, and as you know, first film, I was 100% listen, but it has got strange. But we'll do that off the back of the video, because the video really is what led us to saying we need to talk, guys. We need to get real. We've got a fantastic video of Zach from the Green Party sorting out some woman from the Labour Party. I don't know who she is, but she was
like
terrible.
A 6-year-old toddler.
At your peril, Labour, dismiss Zach and send somebody who can't really speak
and
to deal with him, because he crushes her.
She almost cries.
It's just
so we're going to show that clip too.
This is him on Channel 4 News, I think, yesterday. And we are also going to talk about divorce and the fact that the silver splitters, as they called, are a lot happier, but only if you're a what, Mark? What? Who are happiest?
Midlife women.
Women. The men aren't. The women are. So
I love the phrase that they're using: silver splitters.
Yeah.
Makes me think of something very different. I just want to share this.
You see, I don't really like being called silver, because I
like being called a splitter.
I go through a lot to not show my roots.
Yeah.
But I am silver underneath there.
Yeah. And you're naturally grey.
Naturally grey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to go to a hairdresser's to become grey, Mark. I go to the hairdresser's to cover up my grey.
No, but I know in other ways.
Right, onward.
Okay, just quickly, Michelle, just on the Cynthia and Erivo, because I don't want to lose our dear Michelle Penny. Looking forward to hooking up, sweetie. She says, just because I couldn't find the quote or the description, but apparently, just remember this, everyone. Cynthia and Ariana have said they are in a non-demi-curious, semi-binary relationship, which means, quote, we are not actually a couple, but we are curious about what that could mean.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I'm sorry. Well, we will discuss.
Can you send that again, Michelle, when we get to that debate?
Or send it on WhatsApp.
Or send it on WhatsApp.
Thank you, darling.
Thanks for that, because I'm more confused
Apple crumble,
than ever.
exactly, KCR. Anyone new to the channel, when I say apple crumble, that's my safe word. When Mark gets too revolting, too suggestive, too hot, too sweaty. Come on, get on with it. Okay.
All right. Let's talk about Nigel Farage. So anyone here doesn't know who Nigel Farage is, maybe someone abroad. He's the leader of Reform. Reform came out of, what was the party he was in before? UKIP. He was a big campaigner for Brexit. He's allegedly a close friend of Donald Trump. He's our answer to MAGA.
Not allegedly.
Well, I know.
He is.
I think Trump would like to kind of get shot of him, don't you think?
No.
No? Anyway, so there's been lots. The Guardian did a deep dive and a huge piece on his holding of fascist, far-right beliefs, trotting out anti-Semitic, racist, fascist tropes and lines of bullying to school friends when he was at college, when he was younger. And I think there are two aspects to this story that I just like to kind of just let me set my stall. I think there are two aspects to this that are interesting. One, if you can park Farage to the side, should anyone be judged or have their fortunes?
Should we do Farage first?
Well, no. These are two sides of the same story.
Oh, for the story. Okay,
that's what I'm talking about.
But we're going to do Farage first.
Yeah, that's what we're talking. Yeah. But this is relating to Farage.
Yeah.
So the two sides of the story I want us to think about, and I want to see how Farage changes this. That's the point. Is can you hold egregious, horrible, wrong thoughts, racist, fascist thoughts as a young person, and actually you shouldn't be held to account for it when you're older. It shouldn't affect you. You shouldn't be judged. You shouldn't be pilloried, and you shouldn't even necessarily be criticized. It's just young stuff. Can that exist for anyone, or is Farage an example of how it can't exist, or should it exist for Farage? Should we forgive him? Should we let him just carry on his merry way, encouraging racist policies in this country? Or does it matter that it's Farage? Is it different that it's Farage who held these beliefs, or that he's a politician, or that he's the leader of a party that many describe as racist in intent? And no, someone's saying no sound.
Might be just you, honey.
Might just be you, Charlotte.
Sorry, darling.
Zoe Agnew says he's a knob. Ellery Jones says twat. MeTube says no, Reform is further to the right than MAGA. DP says Farage killing country due to Brexit.
I think that so he's been accused. These are all ex-pupils at Dulwich College that are saying, actually one who has named himself, isn't it? It's a direct. Yes. He's a director, award-winning director, and he has actually, because I think the rest of them are anonymous, aren't they?
Yeah, but
which I can understand. I would go anonymous if I was one of the people at Dulwich College that he'd said these things to, because as we know, the internet can unleash all sorts. So I actually think it's very brave of this guy to speak up and name himself. I think that's quite a sacrifice what he's done there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to note that, because he will get shit for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forever.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, it's like, should you be held to account for opinions that you had? And I just want to share this thought in case it flies by and I don't find it again. What was it? Was
it Nope?
Yeah.
It was down here.
No, yes. Someone said it matters because he is an MP, me tube. Yeah, no, where's it gone? Someone said about here we go. Catherine Cronin, note, holding these beliefs at any stage excludes you from public service. That's an interesting thought. Yeah.
Okay, because it's kind of difficult, this, isn't it? Because we want to talk about the whole picture of this.
Yes.
But at the same time, we've got Farage, and we know Farage still spouts this stuff, but in a much cleverer way.
Yes.
I think, in my opinion.
Yes.
And he is causing the most horrendous division in this country. He's a man that rules by division. That's what he's doing. He tells a pack of lies. He told a pack of lies around Brexit, and he's a thoroughly odious, unpleasant little man, in my opinion. And so I don't believe he's evolved. Right. So what I'm seeing is why do we all believe what these people say? Because that's still what we're seeing. But I definitely think that people can change. And I think we are very blessed, Mark and I, to have been brought up in households where racism wasn't tolerated, where kindness and understanding of other people's positions and place in the world, we grew up with that. This wasn't something that I just, it's all down to me. I was brought up with it. So by the luck of my birth, I was brought up to be kind and understanding, and still I've fucked up loads through life. I've improved myself, and I've still got so many fucking improvements to do. And some people that are brought up in a really racist household, we're parking Farage now. What else can you be than that, if that's what you're hearing? But it's then how we evolve, isn't it? And I think everyone should have the chance to learn from their youth. And I think that in this world, it's very, very difficult for our young, because everything follows you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I just want to follow up on that, though, because it's interesting that you say, being brought up in because one's been brought up in a sort of kinder environment, etc. I mean, obviously, I was brought up by a gay parent. I had mixed race. All my friends were at one point. All my friends were black at one point, and it was a very diverse community. I lived in Ladbroke Grove. This was back in the 70s, before it became some fucking hipster sort of place.
The West Indian nanny.
Yeah, and childminder every Monday, Tuesday night, because my mum worked late. She's a single parent. So and so yes, but I was also brought up by two grandparents who are extraordinarily racist. And I think huge shout out to people who are brought up in an environment where it is racist and actually don't go that way, and actually see that actually their parents and the views of their family aren't necessarily the right ones. Actually,
what I would say there, Mark, is we were brought up in a racist society.
Yeah, that's good.
When I think about what we used to watch, what we used to say, South London would say things now that you would be absolutely cancelled for, but oblivious to it. So when you see wankers like Piers Morgan bringing out books saying, the wokeness, no, we've all learned that there's so much that was offensive. Fuck. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like the shame, but then I always say to myself, no, because we didn't know. We just didn't know. But we're in a world now where really there's a lot that we should know. We give grace to the older generation, don't we? I think we've all got older people in our lives that we cringe at some of the things that they say. I mean, our kids cringe at some of the things we say.
No, absolutely.
Oh my God, you can't say that. It's like, wow. Yeah. So there's that layer and layer to it. And so if somebody really seems like they're trying to change, or when they make a mistake and they say something, they're genuinely sorry and want to make amends, I'm all for it. But Nigel Farage is none of those things.
Well, exactly. And I think this is where it becomes quite interesting with Nigel Farage. I just want to give you, The Guardian's published a sort of brief timeline. I'm not going to take you exhaustively through it, but one of the most notable parts of the timeline that I think is interesting is it was back in 2013 when Michael Crick, do you remember that Channel 4 reporter, used to really hassle politicians through doors with his microphone? He was like Velcro, he'd never go away. He revealed a June 1981 letter written by a teacher about Farage during his time in Dulwich.
Oh, yes, I remember this.
Do you remember this?
Yes,
and
I
so
do.
back in 2013, there was a letter in which a teacher of Farage referred to him as racist and fascist or neo-fascist. And back then in 2013, Farage said, "Of course, I said some ridiculous things that upset them." Crick asked him if these were racist things, and Farage replied, "Not necessarily racist things. It depends how you define them." It subsequently has come out that he would say things like the Nazis got it right, Hitler was good,
bring back the gas chambers,
whispering into, students' ears who were Jewish, gas them, not pleasant. So shall I just play this ITV
petrifying
news clip?
For a young person to have a group of people coming up and saying that to you. I mean, to me, it sounds like he was one of those really scary bullies. It sounds like.
Sounds like.
Feels like.
Well, ITV kind of challenged him on The Guardian. It's a Guardian investigation, really, into, not that it's much of an investigation because it's all out there, but yeah, check this out.
It's good to keep bringing it back. So I've forgotten about the letter from the teacher.
Yeah, it's been bubbling around for ages. And it's always interesting. It's been something that you would often talk about because you knew of him because of his local kind of almost notoriety in Dulwich College. So have a listen to this.
Actually abused fellow pupils when you were at school?
No, this is 49 years ago, by the way. 49 years ago. Have I ever tried to take it out on any individual on the basis of where they're from? No.
At school, categorically on the record, you did not racially abuse fellow pupils?
I would never, ever do it in a hurtful or insulting way.
That's not quite the same as not doing it.
It's 49 years ago. It's 49 years ago.
What difference does the time make?
Isn't it? Well, I just entered my teens. Can I remember everything that happened at school? No, I can't. Have I ever been part of an extremist organisation or engaged in direct, unpleasant personal abuse, genuine abuse on that basis? No.
You're not quite, that's very, very caveated. You're not quite ruling this out. The question is, did you ever racially abuse fellow pupils in school? No. You've caveated it with a hurtful way.
Not with intent.
What do you mean not with intent? I don't understand what you mean by not with intent. What does that mean?
You wouldn't do.
But what does that mean?
No.
No what?
No. I have never directly really tried to go and hurt anybody.
So he's used all those words, but what he's saying is, what he's trying to say is, I've said them without intent of abuse.
When he put his hands out there, that's the first time I've actually seen him that rattled.
Oh.
He's angry and he's rattled.
But this is what I keep saying, right?
More people need to challenge
Farage
him.
is still being greeted onto show after show after show, just like Trump, as a celebrity. And Alistair Stewart always says this, Alistair Campbell, he always says this. He says, you just scratch the surface of Farage and you try and knuckle down on him with facts and figures, he loses his rag, always. And yet nobody does it. Why don't they do it? I don't understand. Well, he did. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Didn't take that much.
It didn't take that much. And did you notice how he immediately went back to the baseline of when the journalist said, "I don't really know what did he say? What did you mean by intent?"
Too many caveats.
No. And then Farage said, "Yes, well, you wouldn't understand, would you?" He can't hide. You can't hide that bullying. And when he says, "I've not been a member of an extremist party,"
you are now.
He's normalizing extremism to the point that now, and this is a really important point. The amount of messages I get saying reform isn't far right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And so this normalizing of reform, just because they're popular, just because they're doing well, doesn't mean that just because it's normal, it's right or it's not far right. It is far right. And I would say that he's the leader of an extremist party.
Absolutely. Should we read out some of the people?
No accountability, little foxgloves. It is so true. Aggressive, says Zoe Agnew. Lizzie, you could just say, you know what, I did and I regret it and it's wrong. Very good point.
And Victoria Moore, I've never seen him like that.
No.
That is behind the scenes what a lot of people say Farage is like.
Yes.
You know, so come on, journalists, don't make the same mistake as journalists made with Trump, soothing his ego, finding him funny. You know,
the media make these people by raising their profile. Good journo here for a change. You're absolutely right. And the number of times, I mean, Zach Polanski makes this point a lot. It is changing with Zach. He's done a remarkable job of getting himself onto these shows by sheer relentless ability to talk authentically. But the reason this guy is booked on excuse me, shows like Question Time, on the radio, is because everyone knows that the things that he says are so sort of, in a way, draconian and extreme that he doesn't need to be challenged in order to bring the viewers in.
Does Farage do Question Time?
He's on Question Time loads, and they're always invited on for the kind of clickbait. For the clickbait.
Does he not get aggravated?
No, because he's never really challenged. He's never really challenged.
He's a proud boy, Carla. The MAGA base.
Yeah. So so I do think, and whoever it was who said earlier, I think it's really important to state that when you take public office, I think exactly what your political opinions were and beliefs were when you were younger, and if they were extreme, they absolutely disqualify you.
It's interesting, isn't it, with that? Linda Stevenson. So when there is an attack of any sort, he instantly tries to blame the Muslim community, and that isn't hurting people directly. Thank you.
And once again, we've got this really, because Reform are right up the Israeli Zionist regime's arsehole. And it's really intriguing that this guy who was spouting anti-Semitism isn't seen as a conflict of interest for the Zionist cause. That tells you everything you need to know about how Zionism in extremis reaches all the way round to embracing anti-Semitism.
That's why there are millions of Jews across the world incandescent with Netanyahu and his goons, because they hide behind the cover of the fear for Jews. It's for Jews. You're doing this to Jews. It's got, we never say Jews. We say the Israeli government. We say Netanyahu. We walk with the Jews on the marches that are incandescent with you, Mr. Netanyahu. We have discussions with them on exactly how they feel as you using them for cloud cover.
And there, just to be clear on this, there is also another form of ancient, I think it's ancient, it's a much more historic form of Zionism, believe it or not, a spiritual Zionism, which is Zionist in the idea that the whole world is a safe space or a place for Jews. They don't believe in the artificial, I mean, this is a real kind of, scintilla of difference, but it's an important one, because you will see some people, some of the Jewish people that you see on the marches, the Orthodox Jewish, the Zionism they engage in is not a Zionism of state or a Zionism of nation. It is a Zionism of the world needs to be a safe sort of country, if you like, for Jewish people.
Exactly, for all people. We want that for all. We want that for Muslims. We want that for Christians. We want that. That is the aim, that we make it a safer place. You look out to the Congo and the Sudan and you think, I want all those people to be safe. You're seeing horror stories on horror stories on horror stories everywhere. But it must not be at the cost of tens of thousands of others. That's where it's all gone wrong.
Absolutely.
Horribly wrong.
Could you just forward me the WhatsApp that Michelle is sending? Because apparently it has the helicopter clip on it. Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna move off that.
Are we going to do?
Oh, should we do Zach Polanski? Yeah. Let's stick with British politics for a moment. Let me just find. Where have I put it? Oh, here we go.
I've just seen your other message as well. I'll message you on that. Thanks, honey.
So this is a clip where Zach Polanski is on Channel 4 News, and I watched this last night, this morning. I can't remember when.
This morning I sent it.
No, but I also saw it before you sent it, and I was absolutely flabbergasted by how out of her waters and out of her league the Labour politician became very quickly. In fact, and this is no dismissal of students, sixth formers, or anything like that. But when I was watching this originally, I thought, oh, is this a student member of the public?
I did.
Who's just been put on to kind of have a debate. I didn't think this was actually a Labour politician. I was staggered. Anyway, check this out.
And that's not because she's young or pretty. No. That is because she literally couldn't answer. I don't know if you've got the same clip as I have.
Okay.
people's lives, not by going on social media and just giving people false hope.
You seem lovely, Rosie, but you're defending a government, or you're part of a government that is keeping a two-child benefit cap, which is keeping 300,000 children in poverty, cut benefits for disabled people, some of the most vulnerable people in this country, is arming a genocide in Gaza, seems every single week to move further and further towards Nigel Farage, including with migrants and refugees. Nigel Farage says jump, Starmer says how high, and you are handing this country on a plate to Nigel Farage. So I won't take the idea that me on social media offering people hope and saying that if we redistributed wealth and power,
false hope.
It's not false hope. If we redistribute wealth and power around this country, everyone will be better.
If you sell people a policy that can't be implemented, that isn't going to bring in the revenue that you say that we need to fix our country, then that is false hope.
Why are you so sure it wouldn't bring in the revenue that Zach says?
Because of the reasons that Rupert said. When this has been tried in countries like Spain, it hasn't driven in the revenue that we need to fundamentally change
but we
our
don't
system.
Compare ourselves to Spain and Switzerland in any other respect.
But also, I'm a Labour politician. I agree with the fact that those who are wealthiest in our society should be paying into our system, should be contributing to fund our NHS. And that is why I was pleased to see in the previous budget us make decisions like closing the non-dom tax loop, putting a tax on private schools, capital gains tax. This is taxing wealth. It may not be the same clip that you can put on TikTok, but it is taxing wealth.
On the capital gains, so Rachel Reeves tinkered with it last year and it was welcome, but we still have the lowest capital gains in the G7. If we brought capital gains tax in line with income tax, the reason why that matters is right now you could be the cleaner of this building. You could be paying less, you could be paying more tax as the cleaner than the person who owns the building. That doesn't...
As a proportion of your wealth.
Right.
Yes.
That's not natural order. That's a result of political choices. And this Labour government, a Labour government, should be making different political choices. But in every single opportunity, they protect the wealth and power of the super rich. Meanwhile, working class communities in this country are struggling badly. And it doesn't seem like in this budget they have any plans to turn this country around.
But unfortunately, the government is limited by the reality of what you can raise.
See, I don't think it's that complicated. We still have the lowest capital gains in the G7. Now, look, for 50 wealthiest families in this country own more wealth than the bottom 50% of the entire population. That's 50 families versus 35 million people. And the collective wealth of those multimillionaires and billionaires, they're earning £35 million every single day. Not every week or every year, every single day. And so to hear people say there's no wealth in this country, or it's not, it's too complicated, or it's too nuanced.
I don't think we said that wealth is too complicated.
But what about that argument? Because these refrains, as you say, they're going around social media a lot. The top 50 families being so absurdly wealthy, and the top 20,000 people also, having more.
Sorry. Zach Polanski DP is the leader of the Green Party in the UK.
More than £10 million in the bank. Why is the Labour government not saying there's something wrong with that? The principle of taking more from that 50 people, 50 families, doesn't seem to come up.
Yeah, I think the wealthiest should be contributing to our economy in order to fund our public services. I think that's a principle that is deep-rooted in Labour values and in this Labour government. I just don't think what Zach is selling people will actually do that.
You seem quite better. Annoyed with Zach's sort of social media
promises.
And I wonder whether is that because it's pulling Labour to the left into a position that is politically unsustainable?
I am annoyed by it, honestly, because I think that it is the exact same technique that Nigel Farage has. It's people.
I'm really honoured to be living rent-free in Labour MPs' heads because they're obsessed about my social media. I'm not surprised because we're seeing thousands and thousands of people join the Green Party literally every single day. We've just hit 175,000 members, including 40,000 young people with the largest youth movement. The main thing I want to say, though, is, I just spent time with 2,000 sixth formers at Westminster Hall and just spoke to them for a long time about their futures. And they're very clear that the Labour Party are not offering what they need for the future. And I've never said that a wealth tax is the one thing that will deal with their future. You talked about bills. Let's lower people's bills. Let's nationalise the water companies. We have water companies right now pumping sewage into our water and charging us extra for their privilege. The water companies are making more profit in the terms of the margins than Shell and Sainsbury's. Now, it's not going to cost any money to nationalise the water companies. I don't say that. The shareholders say that. They say our assets aren't worth anything. And we have a Labour government. Look, if this Labour government was around after the World Wars, we wouldn't have got the NHS. People would have said, it's time to invest. You would have gone, it's too difficult. You're offering people false hope. We could never do a project as big as that. There is no imagination, no vision. You only protect your vested interests, oil and gas companies, gambling companies, arms trade companies, and it's pretty much time.
Rupert,
I think it's
Linda says she sounds like my daughter when I tell her off.
It sounds, the one part of that really sticks in my craw is her accusing him of lying to the electorate
How dare you?
on this supposed, okay, yeah, you're
With
right,
all of
me
what
too.
they're lying.
The finer details of how these ideas can be funded, but let's be brutally honest. Labour and the Conservatives have forever lied. Have forever lied and said one thing and done another and said one thing and done another and broken manifesto pledges like they mean anything. The idea that she's leaning on him lying when the finer details need to be discussed, they're not even giving you the top line of hope. The Labour Party, like the Dems and the Republicans in America, maintain a status quo that serves, and I'm going to use this analogy, it struck me this morning. I often used to say the BBC is an organisation, it's a lifestyle choice for rich kids who didn't make it as lawyers, as doctors, and in sort of trades that their parents would have preferred them to go into. I'm beginning to think that the Labour Party is a receptacle for champagne socialists who literally, it's a lifestyle choice, who have zero comprehension of what it means to work your way up or strive or go without or live. It's just a lifestyle choice. And I would argue that nearly every single Labour fucking MP, with the exception of some on the backbenches that we're not hearing enough from.
Well, that's the problem. The thing is, you're allowing yourself to be tarred with the same brush. Where's the gumption? Where are you going to stand up, and speak up? This is very interesting to me. Laura Lou, I'm all for the Green Party, but I do also worry what would actually happen if they got to power. I do worry, this is the line, that social media is influencing young people, but not knowing the end goal. Right. So what she just did is what their plan is. This is what their plan is. All the other parties, they constantly go on about his social media because what they want to drip into your head is don't trust it because it's just social media. He says, the Greens don't get invited on anything. They do now, of course.
Yeah, they do.
And he's speaking to a younger generation as well that were completely disassociated from politics, who just thought there was nothing in it for them. Grey, white men pointing the finger, saying they're very clear, crystal clear, excellent clear, and not really talking to any of them. If you actually, what he actually said there was very powerful. And any politician I ever listened to, they can say all sorts of things, and we don't really know what the end goal is because they get in there and they don't do any of it.
Absolutely.
So at the moment, what I would say is when I hear him speak, though of course he could turn into anything, like they all could, I hear a genuine, authentic, smart, savvy person who's had multiple different jobs. He's had all kinds of jobs. They tried to use that against him, but actually I quite like the different jobs that he had. And he never fails to impress me in every single interview I've seen.
And I'd also like to stress, even in the last 2 weeks, Rachel Reeves has flipped and flopped in her what she's going to do in the budget, not do in the budget. They've known this. Then a fucking statistic comes out tomorrow that throws everyone into fucking tailspin. We're going to have to break manifesto. So the idea, I think you're right, Michu. Everyone has to be held to a high standard of don't just make empty promises. But let's not forget.
Please, can we do that with Farage?
Let's do the bus. Do you remember how much we were going to save with Brexit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? There's vacuous promises, there's empty promises, and then there's hopeful promises. The one thing I read the other day that really encouraged me about, again, another detail in the Green Party and Zach Polanski is this. He has said very clearly that in no way, shape or form would he ever enter into any kind of political affiliation or coalition with a Labour Party led by Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
He was very specific about led by Keir Starmer. So I don't think he is going to be anti-coalition work. I don't think he's going to be anti-working with people. And I actually would argue, I'm sure, that Zach Polanski is the kind of guy who would rather work by collaboration and in collaborative fashion because He's one of the only parties, if not the only party, apart from the Lib Dems, who says he wants to introduce proportional representation. And the point about proportional representation is this.
Fairer.
It's fairer. It does allow for a larger expression of a political ideology that you perhaps disagree with. But that is surely the sacrifice and the risk of a truer democracy. And then you try and educate, and you try and talk, and you argue the topics, and you liaise with, and you conciliate, and you find solutions that are for the better good of the country, rather than what Labour and the Conservatives have done ad infinitum for years, which is what is best for the Conservative Party, what is best for the Labour Party, rather than what is best for the country. We're all sick and tired of what works for parties. And it is, you're absolutely right, Nadia, it's notional, this idea of the Green Party. This isn't just like, oh, everyone gives Zach Polanski a pass. He has to prove it. He has to get in and prove it.
And he gets rigorously questioned wherever he goes.
But I'd rather give someone coming from a perspective that's completely different to the status quo.
And that actually, when I talk to him, when he talks to us, I believe him now. Whereas he may disappoint. How can we know? Any new relationship, somebody may disappoint. But all the other ones, even, Starmer, all of them before they got in, I was like, this is them kind of thing, oh God, I don't like, oh God. And the other thing about Zach that is very important, he's absolutely anti-genocide. He's Jewish, and he says the only anti-Semitism he's ever experienced in his life is since he stood up for the Palestinians, and that has come from his own Jewish community towards him, from Zionist community.
Absolutely.
And that's a moral code there. That's a moral code, like the Lib Dems. What's his name?
And it's a moral, and I would say it's a moral code. Michu's just done the analysis on how the share of votes would work in PR, proportional representation. If you're for proportional representation as a politician, you are genuinely for and pro what's best for the population of the country you're representing. Ego. It can only be that because you want the opinions and the feelings and the appetite.
Democracy, right?
You want democracy.
Isn't that democracy?
Right? It's not complete, it's not perfect, but it's more perfect than what we've got. It would lead to collaborative leadership. Some argue that it leads to lack of strong leadership. Well, if strong leadership is what we've had for decades, and strong leadership has got us to where we've got to, with an entire young population feeling disenfranchised and hopeless, then let's move on. Let's move on. Let's change. And can I just say one last thing about Zach Polanski that I adore? People say, oh, he's so quick and he just answers and he doesn't trip and he has an answer to everything. And I'll tell you why that is. Because he's not lying.
Honouring you, exactly.
He's not. If you're not lying and you are staying in your truth and you're not trying to say something based on focus group 1 or something based on cabinet responsibility to the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary, and we must make sure this chimes with the donor and Netanyahu and the Zionists. And if you're not doing that and you are talking honestly about your policies, then it trips out of you articulately.
But also, we must also, of course, acknowledge that when you're not in power, you are freer.
Absolutely.
You are freer. And that's why you have to watch. It's like Mamdani. How are you going to go now, Mamdani? Are you going to start? Because they have to compromise. They all have to compromise. It's business. It's the way of the world. But I think at the moment, I'm feeling truth. I think he's speaking truth to power. And I think that's what we.
I'm loath to suggest what.
I like this. Also, isn't it better to at least try ideas that lead with compassion and fairness?
Yeah.
Lead with compassion and fairness. Exactly.
Yeah. Why not try it? Here's the thing. If we live in a democracy, why are we stridently, some people who believe the system can work, could work, should work, why are we stridently clean? What's the definition of madness? Doing the same thing,
repeating the same action, expecting a different
outcome. And I would say that our electoral system is precisely that. It's madness. It hasn't solved, it hasn't resolved, it hasn't changed. It's getting worse. If I was to give advice to anyone opposing, well, not that I want to equip anyone with, I think the area that's really difficult potentially for the Green Party, and I'm amazed that the Labour Party and the Conservatives and Reform haven't gone on this, though I'm sure they have a bit, but they will do more, is national security and all that kind of stuff. Because war, Greens are anti-war, they're anti-conflict, they're anti-nuclear, armaments, etc. That will be the area that I think will become a difficult, not difficult because I have any contradiction in that, but more and more debates about Russia being the threat. Let me just make this prediction. there is going to be an amplifying of Russia as a threat to us as a nation by the mainstream parties over the incoming 2 to 3 years, regardless of whether that threat is real or not. There's going to be an amplification of that, because in that they will be able to turn to parties like the Green Party and potentially home in on, well, what would you do? Would you fight? Are you going to disarm in the face of aggression and all that kind of stuff? That will be where the vulnerabilities will be.
We have to move on.
Yes, let's move on. Okay, so shall we have a moment with Cynthia Erivo and...
Yes, should we do the splitters first, because it's there, and then we'll finish with Erivo.
Okay, so this is the headline. Why midlife divorce is good for you as long as you're a woman. Thousands of walk-away wives are calling time on their marriages and discovering new levels of happiness in the process. Be warned, men. Be warned. There's a revolution happening of the silver splitters. It was
at the beginning, they used the example of this woman, Pat, given another anonymous name, 55. So she said it was okay while he was working, but then he was a workaholic and he traveled a lot. It is, I think, what happens for a lot. And then he retired and he was under my feet and he was pretty lost. But then he just started to undermine me constantly every day. He'd say or do something which hurt, forgetting something important to me, not noticing something I'd done for him, generally being negative. Each thing in isolation wasn't bad, but it built up. I can remember looking at him one day across the table and thinking, I just can't do this anymore.
Wow.
And I think that puts a chill feeling of fear.
Maybe sends a chill, shrill chill down.
Well, no, I would say it sends a shrill chill to men that it doesn't need to, because if you get a shrill chill, that means you are noticing and you're adjusting and you're listening. But I think what happens in a lot of relationships, and we talk about this quite often, don't we, in marriage so far, is that, I think that as men, I mean, a lot of my older friends will say this, as they get older, they're starting to want to do more. They've got less responsibility, less time looking after the kids, not doing 2 jobs, and they start to want to live a little more. And then their fellas are like, oh, might just sit back now, just watch the missus and just like have my own little empire here.
Yes.
Honestly, this is the kind of conversations that go on. And they just turn around and go, actually, no. I don't want to sit around now looking after you until the end of your days.
Absolutely.
I'm off. And apparently...
So we went for a younger man.
It's working very, very well for women.
Yeah, I pulled a couple of quotes from it, which I thought were intriguing. This one, I don't know if you just read. Ultimately, I just got fed up. You just read that one.
Oh, no, I didn't.
This was someone else said, ultimately, I just got fed up. It was constant, not turning up when he was supposed to, not being there physically, not being available for the children or me. They spoke of how, having spent their lives, women did, up to that point, looking after everyone else, they decided it's my turn now and my turn to do something for me. Having felt taken for granted by their husbands, they were leaving to have a shot at living my best life, as one woman put it.
And this was an event here with Noon. I don't know what Noon is. Gemma Kidd, model, now wellness entrepreneur. I am having way more fun on the other side of divorce, she said to loud cheers from a female audience.
Wow.
You walk through that fire and then you come out the other side and you just thrive. I've really learned that the best revenge is to live well, to thrive. The people who got me through it all were my girlfriends. They were my lifeline, particularly as I got divorced during COVID. And I think through COVID, an awful lot of marriages broke up because it was like people were just stuck really being faced with the fact that this relationship had probably done its time, had run its time. I mean, a lot of people say now that marriage is just a totally ridiculous thing because we do shift so much, you know, and unless you've got a partner that's willing to shift with you, you don't have to stay anymore.
But in that is a huge, the devil is in the detail. Unless you have a partner who's willing to shift with you, that statement could be said from both angles, couldn't it? It's like whose shift should take priority? In which direction should that shift happen? I mean,
I think why we're talking about it in this way, though, is that it shows that men are unhappy after divorce, largely. The percentages are, and that women largely are much happier after divorce.
I think maybe traditionally, you know, in the past, the roles of men and women have been thus that through work, through whatever, just through the social norms. Men have their life of adventure, and then they sort of fade out, don't they, to a sort of place of conservatism, boredom, moaning, moody, and all the rest of it. Whereas women have gone through the nitty-gritty of keeping a house, a family, and him going. And then they get to a point where they go, this is my moment for freedom, for experience, for adventure. And I mean, Shirley Valentine is a classic example.
I mean, so this research, so I don't know.
Got a lot of comments.
So the research has shown they wanted to find out why this was, that they were seeing more and more of this. And what emerged through the stories that we heard was a generation of husbands often are lacking the emotional tools or communication skills necessary to heal the rifts with their long-term wives. While women traditionally just used to stay put, they're no longer content to do that, of course. And actually, you would be amazed how often people will say to us off the back of our How to Stay Married podcast, all I wish is I could just have a conversation a bit like this with my partner. Right. And we often say, well, why not? We say to people, well, why not, watch this with your husband, or give it to him. And they say, oh, well, he wouldn't even watch it, wouldn't even listen to it. And I think, fuck you. If you're
not willing to make the effort.
If you're not willing to make any effort, of course they're going to walk away from you.
I do think there's an assumption that there's an entitlement. I think men just sit back and rest on their laurels.
Paid into this all the way through. This is my pension now. Yeah. This is my relationship pension. I've paid into this for all these years.
I really want to read out. There's quite a few really interesting comments coming through, but someone was just asking, what are the statistics on the survey? I've got them here. The survey was conducted, 2,000 women aged 45 to 65, benchmarked against the UK population. And it was conducted by an organisation called Survation. I just want to read this out. Laura Liu, couples need to plan ahead for change. Retirement can bring up lots of undiscussed issues.
Which is what lockdown was like in a way, wasn't it? It was a mini retirement, and people, and we will often have this conversation, Mark and I. If you keep on having things that you can't talk about, you just stop talking about them. But where do they go, those things? So though it's uncomfortable, and Mark and I sometimes have huge arguments and upsets, but you know what I always say at the end, it's better to have had them than to just be festering. They don't go anywhere if you don't talk about them. But just stay in your soul.
I think the judgment on whether a bloke is willing to, and we're talking about it in this way. Obviously, there are other issues in the opposite direction, but we're talking about it because this is the survey today. But I think one of the things when you say to me, and all relationships go through this, when Nadia says to me, it happened quite recently where she said, she says, look, I'm beginning to not mention that because if I do, you have this reaction, or if I do, I think, I don't want the problem. And the genuine response I get to that after the kind of heat of kind of the row or whatever the discussion is always one of, shit, that's awful. Now, if you're with, thank God, I think that's the thank God, is I think, shit, that's awful. I do think that. How I go about trying to sort it is something different. But I think if you're with a fella who literally doesn't even care and wouldn't even watch. I mean, if you were to say if you were to say to me, look, I really think we've got a problem with this, check this out or watch this. You have to be willing to work. I think there is a real assumption that you don't have to work at a marriage.
Well, through this long article, it then says at the end, the upshot is if men want to hang on to their walk-away wives, they're going to have to try a lot harder to keep them happy. And the thing is, women are just financially independent in a way that they weren't in days gone by when you'd had paid into your pension because you'd been out earning and had kept the financial side of things going. So then you think but I mean, we've gone way past that now for decades. It's like, wake up, guys. Yeah. Wake up.
Yeah. Maya, I agree, Mark. Sounds very much like it's just been a generation of men who were raised to believe that their wives weren't equal partners in need of the same support and attention as them. So many people are saying that they know people who've moved on. Persephone personified, my ex abandoned me after 18 years, but now he is miserable. It's hilarious that I'm thriving while he's beside himself. Sucks to be him, I guess.
Oh my God.
That's a good comment. DP, relationships go through seasons. Autumn and winter need to be prepared for and to be nurtured.
Exactly.
That's a nice way
That's why the conversations that we have are like, okay, things are shifting. Our life is changing. Getting older, the kids will be going, what are the bits that we're too busy to deal with that could come and bite us on the arse further down the line?
No, absolutely right.
Right, we've got to move on.
Okay, well, let's play this comedian because she's very good. She kicked this off for us and she's incredibly arresting. Nadia sent it to me. I'm learning.
Schindler's List and 12 Years a Slave didn't act this traumatized after filming, so what happened on the set of Wicked? Why are they all crying? All the time? Were they doing some weird cult ritual and accidentally kill a munchkin? Are they trauma bonded over that now? What is going on? Every one of those cast members needs a dose of lithium with a side of fries. What is with these creepy interviews? They're just crying, shaking, and stroking each other. Ariana's like age regressing in real time. My favorite color is 5. And Cynthia's trying to breastfeed her. What am I watching? Why are they even airing this shit? And I'm supposed to act like it's normal? And I know this is dangerous territory because the Wicked fan base, some of you guys are some hardcore weirdos. You're gonna try to gaslight me into thinking like you don't understand theater kids or what it's like to be part of a project that you're so passionate about. Blow me. This is not theater kid shit. This is a personality disorder. Oh, Ariana's obviously going through something, and Cynthia's protecting her. That bitch had an affair with a married man. Did we forget? This is called karma. Now her mental illness is on display for everyone to see, but we're just gonna ignore it because she's a really talented singer, right?
Oh my God, that was a bit brutal at the end.
I didn't see that end bit.
I didn't see that end bit.
I pulled out, yeah.
I didn't see that.
We're not necessarily subscribing to that thought. No, anyway,
No.
just I think what she says is, I think she speaks for a few people. And Michelle rather handily has sent us the clip that I couldn't find of the helicopter moment. So this is, oh, hang on, well, let me find it. Yeah, it's up here. So this is a particularly odd moment.
Not the time, helicopter! Go away.
Ariana trying to comfort Cynthia while a helicopter flies overhead.
Me.
Not the time, helicopter!
What is happening to her with the helicopter?
Can I be honest about that clip? I think there's something, there are some really odd, I got a horrible feeling she was talking about something else and the helicopter interrupted the moment.
It's not the actual
I think
helicopter.
it might have been taken slightly out of context.
Oh, because she was upset about something else.
And
yes,
so when she says that to the helicopter, I don't think she's
not
upset
the
by
right
the helicopter.
time. Yes.
So, so interestingly,
that's the con.
That's
the social media con.
But this isn't. Check, where's the necklace? Check this out.
Care of each other on screen and off screen, and just kind of have a really truthful friendship and a beautiful sistership that continues to grow and grow even through this press tour. Something's bothering her. She's gonna fix something. I know. She's getting the fixing itch that Cynthia Erivo gets.
It's not there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because the thing.
I've looked at the close-up of that. There was nothing wrong with the necklace.
Do you think they're just really codependent?
Let's just check out one of the first moments I was aware of this, which was with the first film.
First time ever doing a job.
You have been the light of the day. You are
truly-
such a gift.
You brought such light into the room. Thank you very much.
We appreciate
for coming
you.
into this room today.
Thank
We needed you to come in.
Yeah.
Both beautiful. Thank you so much.
We love you. Thank
Have a lovely rest of
you.
your day.
You too.
Thank you, Pink News.
Thank you.
We love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See, I think they're still in character.
Is it method? Is it method?
I don't know.
The privilege of my life. And I love you, and I hope you'll let my friendship be one of the things that you're learning how to let in.
It's very un-British, isn't it? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's just the American.
Getting really hot. I'm really hot again.
It is odd.
They are trying to be love, says Donna Holland.
Be love.
Be love. Here's another one.
I've never been asked that question.
That's incredible.
That's a great question to ask.
If you had to describe each other's aura, what color would it be?
That's a nice question. An aura.
Yellow.
For me?
Sunshine. Yeah.
Ah, thank you.
And like also, I think there's also purple.
That was very good. I see like a ciel blue. You know, like
Thank
aqua.
you. Wow,
And
I'm
like
so moved by that response.
so specific.
This
isn't
is
it?
so.
Sorry, it's very specific. And like
And
like sunset orange.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yours is pink.
It's lovely. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is actually.
See, this is Tanya. I think they put so much in the whole film, emotions, characters, so attached to each other. Now, like one, yes, strange, but doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me, but I just find it, and I'm totally in agreement. That's what I was all the way through the first film, wasn't it? I kept saying they're just so in character, but it's like,
it doesn't offend. I mean, look.
It doesn't offend me.
They're
I just
more than
find it
welcome to do what the fuck
Do you
they
know
want.
what
I
it
just
is?
find it odd.
I find it fascinating.
Yes,
that's it.
If you
find it cringe, I find it.
Yes.
I find it jaw dropping.
Well, let's carry on then.
Monday and Cynthia Erivo are back promoting Wicked for good, and things between them are getting weird all over again. They arrived hand in hand at the New York premiere, and Ariana ditched all red carpet interviews to stand in solidarity with Cynthia, who was on vocal rest. Fans also couldn't help noticing Cynthia's constant concern for Ariana in interviews. Even when nothing is going on, Cynthia's right there, reaching out, adjusting something, or making sure Ariana's okay. I mean, look at this clip. Nothing is wrong with Ariana's necklace, and while in mid-interview, Cynthia has her hands all over her neck, fixing it. The Wicked press tour run has also brought out a very babied version of Ariana. Cynthia is so protective of Ariana that she's the first to jump in and save the day when Ariana was attacked by an unhinged fan. Paparazzi got this photo of Cynthia afterwards. And let's also talk about how every time Ariana and Cynthia do an interview together, they look deeply in each other's eyes and start crying.
You know, I worked with the Ariana Grande, and that was a pleasure.
I mean, there is a very odd amount of different crying clips from different interviews throughout this whole process, which has people asking what happened on the set of this movie.
Which witch cried most on set? Ari? Ooh, no, ooh.
That you're learning how to let in. Forever I'm here.
A lot of fans think these two are in love with each other, and I'm not sure if Ariana and Cynthia both enjoy playing into the rumors because it helps movie press, or it's just entertaining for them to do so.
I suppose that's the question. Everybody's saying it's a PR stunt because, listen, everyone's
talking about it.
But I don't feel it is. What about the marriage thing?
Yeah, read it. What did Michelle describe? She said she sent it in. I just want to talk. What people really don't understand, Stephen Graham's talked about this, the actor from Adolescence. Method acting can really interfere with your mentals, basically, because you go into such an intense place. Now, imagine going method within the entirely fictional, hallucinogenic environment of the Emerald City and the Wizard of Oz. I don't think you don't need to take hallucinogens, mushrooms, or opium to kind of get there. I just think they're so in it, and you've got to also understand. I'm saying this in their defense.
But will they ever be able to come out of it?
Well, I worry because they've been making this for 4 years now. Because lockdown got in the way, then the writers' strike got in the way.
Imagine having to be that nice to each other all the time. I'd go mad.
Yeah, but see, what I was fascinated by.
I'd go, oh, for God's sake, shut up.
I want to cut to 10 years from now to see if they're still in touch.
Well, but apart from anything, what an exhausting friendship.
Oh, utterly exhausting.
So consuming.
Utterly exhausting.
So they reveal they're in a non-demi-curious, semi-binary relationship. It means we're not actually a couple, but we are curious about what that could mean and everything.
Is that a thing? I mean, is that a thing? I mean, I'm genuinely asking. Is that a category?
Yes, you
of
make
thing?
friends on a film and acquaintances. You get close to people, but this kind of connection doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen.
But listen,
doesn't happen at all.
I think that you fall in love with your friends. You
Yes,
can
right.
fall in love. It doesn't mean it's sexual, and maybe that's what they're saying in their American way. Maybe they're just saying we've fallen in love, but it's a platonic relationship. I fall in love with my friends. When I make new friends, you fall in love, and then you get into a relationship. But it's never sexual.
DP says, put them in Croydon and see if they survive in the wild. Just an interesting note from a filmmaking perspective. We are going to somehow, somewhere in our crazy schedule, have to find time to watch it and review it because we reviewed the first one and liked it. We really liked it. I thought Cynthia was astonishing in it. Guess what the promotional budget on just this film?
What?
No, just this second installment. Promotional. $350 million.
Just the PR.
$350 million has been spent on promoting this film. Just this one. That's dwarfs the budget massively.
And on that, we will have to leave it because so
We have to
listen, guys, hit the subscribe button, please hit the notification bell, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Guys, thank you so much for